Hello, and welcome to another Autodesk Fusion 3D modeling video. And so what you're going to notice in this video is that this is the basic outline of this structure. In future videos, we're going to add windows, doors, and the STL file for 3D printing is going to make more sense. So you might skip ahead to the next video. But in the description, you're going to see the building one file in a Google Drive. You're going to see the original STL file. If you want to adjust it, change it, go for it. But that will be updated with the finished product that's going to have windows, doors. Maybe we'll get some gutters on that we can then 3D print. But the purpose of this particular building is that we can make the faces laser cut and then add in 3D parts to outline the windows, the doors, and make those a little easier. But we can save on resin by using a laser cutter or just sawing it yourself and getting some basswood. So there's many options. We're going to create more features for this, but as you can see in the video, it's just creating this original structure and also learning how to do pattern on a path, which is how some of these windows are created. So without any further ado, here's the video. Thanks for checking in. Start from the center point. This is going to keep our structure dimensioned. And this time we're going to create it, and then the file for this building will be down below. So if you don't want to learn how to do it, there's a free STL file. Just ask that you give it a like and consider subscribing. Thanks. All right, so I want to make kind of a hardware store building. So we're going to go about 45 millimeters there, and we'll do about 70 millimeters here. At this point, we need to offset to create a 3D structure, and so this may be 3D printed, or you can use it for laser cutting. So we'll do 3 millimeter offset. We now have the outside of our building, the walls. So now let's create a door. So we're going to do a 2-point rectangle, come up here to the bottom. We can find a place on this offset. We're going to have doors to the side, and I changed my parameters. So when I type in door, my set user parameter will stay where it wants to be, or stay as the number I set. So the door height is not the right one, door width, and I have it at 8.70. That's as, I believe, accurate as possible. And I'm going to try and keep these consistent in all videos. So as we make windows, we can pop them in, or doors, and 3D print those. They'll all be universal, which I think is a huge advantage. So we need to finish constraining this. Do 7 millimeters from the side. And then just in case, you see how just the blue is illuminated, click that to the top, make sure it says 3, and we're good. So our door is all set up. I'm going to put a door on the side of the building as opposed to the back. And let's see, maybe we'll put it on the side and the back over here. I'm still in dimension, so I can hit escape, go back to my rectangle, create a door on the side of the building. Once again, door width, 3 millimeters. We're going to dimension 7, just no particular reason, just for fun. Next, I'm going to do some windows, do a large one in the front, and let's say 20. And this will kind of be my storefront size. Standard, I think, for the moment will be 20. And then we need to dimension it from the other side of the wall. The reason I'm doing it from the wall as opposed to from the door is if I change the size of the door or the window, the other one won't be affected from the other. So if we make this smaller, make this bigger or smaller, it will not change the placement for the most part. All right, so we're going to duplicate this window by creating a pattern on a path. So I'll show you how that works. And then I also want to create a window on the back side and then on the side as well. So we're going to create one window, dimension, window width. From the side, we'll say 10, and we're going to also pattern that one as well. So our dimension should be completed. We'll finish the sketch, Raise all of these up. Floor height, which, all right. So now we have our rectangle. We're going to make a small just store or something. And once again, the files will be for free down below. So we need to enable our sketch. We're going to click on our door. When we left click and hold, it allows us to go through the location profile. Click this location as well. And it's going to be starting from the base. That's what profile plane means. One direction going up. And for distance, our preset parameter, door height, and they're completed. Now we need to do the windows. We're going to complete this window by itself. Once again, left click through. We want to start from an offset. We're going to offset it by, we'll try 6 millimeters. And then direction, one side, extent type, distance. And distance is going to be window height. There's our window. We can look at it to see if it's too low, too high. I think it's appropriate. Last but not least, we'll do our other smaller window. Once again, left click, hold, go to profile, and then we're going to offset the plane. I believe I did 6 before. Distance is going to be window height. Now we have an additional window. So now we're going to pattern these. We're going to pattern this back window to the back, maybe even 2 of them. And then over here, we're going to pattern this window to the side. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go to create. We're going to go to pattern. You see how we can do a circular pattern or a pattern on a path. We're going to select features, not bodies. And we're going to select the window. The path is going to be these outside walls. And now what we can do is just rotate the item. Now I only want 2 of them. Let's see, it says identical or path direction. So we're going to switch that to path direction. And now if we hit OK, we have 2 windows, just like that. So we only had to do that with 1. So now let's do this twice with this back window. So create, pattern, pattern on path, feature, path. We'll just say these 2 because it's not going to go all the way around. See if we can get that to work. We're going to do path direction. We're going to move them to the side. Now you can see how these are spacing out how they want to, and it's based on the distribution. So if we set spacing, we can move this, but say the spacing is 60. Well, maybe not. This is one of the reasons I got frustrated with doing patterns on a path, is that it may need to be limited um, based on not exactly getting these how you want. So let's bring this back and see if we can bring them together. You can see how they adjust and space them out kind of exactly. And honestly, I thought I knew how we could fix that, but it doesn't seem to be working 100%. But for this purpose, um, we can go ahead and okay. Those 2 windows are okay. Not the best placement, but it works. So for, it actually kind of cuts into that corner, doesn't it? I don't like that. So let's go back, and that's the great part about parametric, is that we can go back in timeline and fix things. So bring that back towards the middle, hit OK. There we go. Nothing's cutting off. The 3D file looks good. So now that that's done, we have our walls, we have our windows. Let's go ahead and work on the roof. So for this roof, I want to work on making it more of a step down and not peaks. So for this, we're going to create a sketch on the side, create project or project this side wall, hit OK. And now we have these purple lines with the circles around all the corners. So now we can create a sketch on it. And I'm going to create a 2-point rectangle. And I'm going to make this just decrease a little bit, just enough to give us some interest. So we'll create a sketch there. We're going to dimension the sketch. And then And we have to dimension the bottom one to the top. We'll say 5. Now we have what we need. We'll finish our sketch. And at this point, we're going to extrude this area. We can left click and drag it through. And because it's going through material that's already there, it's going to default to cut. We could always close this off if we wanted. But at this point, we'll drag it across. We can change that operation to join and really change whatever you would like there. So let's cut. Now we have a nice building that we can throw some paper or whatever it is. If it's a laser cut, if it's 3D printed, you could 3D print a roof onto this. But just for this point, this is going to be a SVG file and a 3D file if you want to add some things inside and then add your own roof on top. So now that we're here, we can work on exporting this out to SVG. So at this point, we can go to Utilities, Export to Origin. We'll go ahead and do Faces and make sure Advanced is checked. Otherwise, you can't select Faces. We're going to hit OK. And then let's go to whatever filing system you want to do. Make a new one here. Let's say Building 1. We're going to say Front Face. And skip ahead if you like to. We're going to do this for all of them. So the right face. We got to go to the back. Last but not least, left. All right, so now that we have those all completed, we can go to Lightburn and any software that you use. We'll bring this in. We need to pull up our files. So now it's as easy as dragging them into our program. So there's the back face, front face, left face, right face. So as you can see, this one is upside down. So we can, we want to group these together. Group all your SVG files. Now yours may already do it, but when you go from Fusion to Lightburn, these windows are not fixed to the position of the rest of the wall. Obviously, you can move them around if you want, but it's a lot harder to do in Lightburn, in my opinion. So we can highlight this, hit period, turns it around. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 walls. Just bring them up however you want, and then this file will be below. And in the next video, we're going to make the doors, we're going to make the windows. For a laser cutter, you can use a thinner material to go on top, and then you can also 3D assemble this or create the windows right in those locations. So follow along for next video, and if you want this file, go and download it below.